Some places don't let you leave. They don't chase you. They wait. This is what happened to the last guest of room 217. No one knows why this hotel, trapped between the mountains, is still standing. The nearest town is hours away. There is no phone signal. In winter, the roads completely disappear. Those who come here either get lost or never had anywhere to escape to in the first place. I work the night shift here, or at least, I think I do. Every night at exactly 11 p.m., I take my place behind the desk. On the old reception counter sits a yellowed bell, a telephone that hasn't rung in years, and a clock hanging on the wall, stuck forever at the same time. The silence is so heavy that sometimes my ears ring. After a while, you learn to fear silence. The first few days were quiet, too quiet. I knew the hotel was empty, yet every night I opened the guest ledger, wrote down the hours, and checked the keys. Habit, I suppose. When you're alone long enough, you cling to rules more tightly. Until I noticed room 217. That night, I saw light spilling from beneath its door, the only light in the hallway. A strange unease settled in my chest, because I had personally checked every room before midnight. All of them were dark. I was certain. When I went upstairs, the corridor felt cold. The air was heavy. It smelled like a chest that hadn't been opened in decades. The door to 217 was slightly ajar, just enough to suggest someone had looked out and decided not to leave. I knocked. My voice echoed down the hallway, but there was no answer. When I pushed the door open, the hinges groaned softly. The room was empty. The curtains were drawn. Everything was in its place. But the bed was warm. The moment I pulled my hand away, my stomach turned. The room felt as though it had been abandoned only seconds ago. I made up excuses. Old building, poor insulation, heat lingering in the mattress. The human mind exaggerates everything in the dark. I turned off the light and left. Back downstairs, the clock on the wall was still frozen, but the time glowed clearly on my phone screen. 2:17 a.m. At that exact moment, the elevator chimed. A hollow, metallic ding. I stared at the doors. They opened. No one stepped out. A few seconds later, I heard a door open upstairs. I knew which one. The next night, I didn't check room 217. I told myself it didn't matter. But when the time reached 2:17, heavy footsteps began above me. They weren't running. They weren't hiding. They weren't in a hurry. They sounded deliberate, like something waiting. When the footsteps stopped, they were directly overhead. Room 217. On the third night, the phone rang. Everyone knew that phone hadn't worked for years. The sound was so loud I jumped. When I lifted the receiver, I thought the line was dead. Until it spoke. The voice was mine. The same tone, the same exhaustion, the same breathing. It whispered calmly, almost hurt. "Why didn't you let me in?" The line went dead. I ran up the stairs. The door to 217 was wide open. In the bathroom, the mirror was fogged. Words had been written with a finger, already starting to fade. But I could still read them. I am still here. I wasn't afraid anymore. There is a place beyond fear, and it's far worse. I waited for morning. I decided to quit. I packed my things, left the key on the desk, and walked toward the exit. I pushed the door. It didn't open. I tried again. Locked. Behind me, the elevator chimed. This time the clock on the wall didn't matter. The time was clear on my phone. 2:17 a.m. That's when I understood. I was registering the guests who came here. I was handing out keys. I was directing them to their rooms. But for myself, I had never checked out. And room 217 was waiting for me. Some rooms are never closed. They just wait for someone new. And room 217, it doesn't know you yet.